great to be with you all tonight and to speak to you for just a moment or two about this, we think, a very important occasion. Let me express appreciation, though, to each one of you for being here and for the things that you all do and others do to help Thibodaux Regional serve its purpose, which is try to help the community be a healthier place to live and to have a quality of life that's maybe a little better than it can be in other circumstances. So you might remember, if you were here when we dedicated this building a few years ago, talking about moving from acute care, what we call in our business acute care, which is where somebody down the line quite a ways, so to speak, in the evolution of their health, they show up at the hospital. High blood pressure, diabetes, heart conditions, all those things bring them there. And to some degree, to a greater degree than we think sometimes, those problems can be eliminated or lessened if individuals and families in the community make a commitment to a healthier lifestyle. We felt our mission in part was to try to help bend that curve. When we look at the numbers here, you know, the brutal facts are we have some of the worst numbers in the country. That's just a fact. And the question is, who's doing something about it? And I know there are people who are doing things about it. It's not like there isn't anything being done, but it's a tremendous challenge. And so we build a tremendous building, hopefully, and services that match it. So tonight we're here to groundbreak for phase 2 of the Wellness Center and services at Thibodaux Regional. Again, I thank you for coming. So I just have a few comments to make. One is that we're very aware of COVID. I had COVID. Came in here to the hospital on Christmas Day and was confirmed that I had it. And, you know, the breathing part of it was the challenge for me. But I was fortunate in a sense that my underlying health was good. I don't have high blood pressure, heart conditions, some other things. Some of that's in the gene pool. Some of it is I work out and stuff. But it helped me realize and understand what was being said generally, that if your underlying health is good, you're in a lot better place with COVID or whatever comes along. Could be cancer. We're building a cancer center over here that'll be open in September or October. And there's many people in this area, and you guys know a lot of them because they're family members who are affected by cancer, and many more that will be. And so some of that can be avoided, right? But underlying health that's better helps you through surgical procedures, treatments, so on, than you would ever imagine. So we're grateful for that, and as you think about that and plan for the future, think about it in your families and in your businesses or wherever you work. How can you help bend that curve personally and make the environment a better one, more conscious of health and wellness? So a little bit about that. You know, at the Wellness Center here next door, we were seeing about 350,000 visits a year. That's just the fitness center only. It's a lot more when you count the rehab and so on. But with COVID, you know, those numbers came down some. People don't want to wear masks and so on, and you can. Some of them think if they come to a hospital, they might get COVID or an associated facility and all those kind of things. So, you know, those numbers are down about 20%, but they far exceeded what we expected in the beginning, you know, where we thought there was going to be 1,400 members and there ended up between 5,000 and 6,000 members. That was sustained over 3 years. Now we're in the 200,000 to 300,000 visits instead of the 300 to 400, but it's growing, it's coming back. So in all of that, you know, we've seen a lot of wonderful things happen in people's lives. It's incredible. The journey, personal journeys, people with cancer. We've integrated wellness with different clinical conditions by working with our doctors. So if you get cancer, do you have it? Does anybody talk to you about wellness? Does anybody discuss with you the dietary part of it or what you can do to quote unquote work out or exercise or whatever that makes you stronger during treatment might increase your chances of survival, and then after survival, what's the quality of your life? So in there could be behavioral changes and things that really make a difference. And so that journey has really been very encouraging at this point in time. And we have, I don't know, 1,000 passion stories. We collect them. We write them down of individuals who've come to the program here and incredible stories. So now what we have here, let me just summarize it, is about 12 acres. It will be 12 tennis courts. It will be 12 sand volleyball or beach volleyball courts. It will have a playing field, a turf playing field, that you can play soccer or football on. It will, there'll be 1,000 seats around those fields for people to sit on. The tennis courts have a second story, so you can get up there and observe on any of the courts that are games are being played on or matches are being played on. It'll enable us to hold tournaments. It'll enable us to bring in people from other areas and, work with the high schools. We have been working with Nichols for a long, long time. We appreciate them. And some Nichols guys here tonight. I think JT, did I see JT here from, maybe I didn't. Yeah, there he's right in front of me. Hello, JT. And so that using these facilities, Nichols using these facilities in part will help them, we think, in recruiting and retaining great athletes. And they come here and see this. When you see this, it's not a little thing. It's not a little tiny thing. I think when it's finished, you'll be impressed with the size of it, for one thing, and the quality of it. But, tennis tournaments that are NCAA type tournaments, and by the way, everything is built to NCAA standards, will open a lot of doors and a lot of opportunities. For those people who are members of this, of the wellness center, they'll have opportunities to go outside, like on a day like this. If you want to run 3 miles or 5 miles or whatever you run, there's an 8-lane track. Play tennis, and sand volleyball is an emerging, mostly young women, I think, although young guys like to play it too, but very much emerging on the collegiate level. I think everybody's probably aware of that. It's a great sport. What about people who have graduated from high school? We sponsor a lot of the high school teams. We have the tournaments here for the all-stars and so forth. When they're done, though, where do they get to play? This is sand volleyball now I'm talking about. There's not very many places to play, almost none. So for the community purposes, for organized sports, intercollegiate, high school, and all of that, there's going to be a place here, and it's going to be a high-quality place to come and work out and have competition and stay healthy. So I'm going to just mention a couple of other things, and then I'll be done. This project will take about 10 or 11 months. By the first of the year, basically, it should be complete. It's like stuff we've been doing the last several years, especially. It'll be on schedule and it'll be on budget, and the quality of the workmanship will be excellent. So the other few things I want to say to you, part of kind of understanding an organization that's in your community is some of it's a little bit complex. So we moved in the last year from being a service district hospital to be a 501c3 nonprofit under the IRS tax code, which leases the old service district. The service district still owns everything, but there's a lease. And part of that lease, 501 status, which began last October, and they say not for profit, they're not 100% true because we started paying taxes. Now, I want to say this in the right way. I think it should be communicated that those taxes last year were $4 million, 1.8 to the city, 1.3 to the parish, and 900 to the state. It will be the same amount this year. And so what's built here is not being built with tax dollars. It's not being built with funds from somewhere else, being built from our funds. It's a lot of hard work of the doctors and the staff and everybody else working together as a team that have helped us get to a point where we can do these things that largely benefit the city and the region, and they can be paid for when they're done. So we're really grateful for that, and I wanted to share that with you. So as we think of a vision of a healthier community, consider that thought for a minute. We have a story we tell about Thibodaux Regional. It has a ship on it, a sailing ship. And over there in the distance is this hospital on the land. The seas are rough seas, and it doesn't look like easy sailing. And we use it to teach people about vision. I use it in the new employee orientation every 2 weeks. If we sat down and we did some visioning. We said, I asked the new members of our staff like this, if you walked into that hospital, how would people speak to you? How would they speak to you? And you know, that's a simple thing, but a very powerful thing that denotes the culture of the place. Are the people, the patients mostly, but their families, how do you treat them when they walk through the doors? Are they an object? Are they a number to be dealt with? Or do you have respect for any and all of them that come through the doors? These are fundamental things that we teach. Let's suppose for a minute we had some hours probably, to envision a healthy community. What would it look like? If we went around the room here, there's a lot of really bright, capable people here. And we said 5 years from now, or even 3 years from now, but especially 10 years from now, we were going to be a really healthy community. We made that decision. We're clear about it. And the rest of it is, how do we get there? What steps do we need to take to get there? Well, we'd have to change our thinking about certain things. We'd have to change our method about certain things, and so on, our habits. And so I'd like you to think about that as you think about what we're about to build here, and what sits over here right now is, hopefully it's something that stimulates that kind of thought process and that we can actually follow through on. So I'd like to thank our board for their support. It's quite a tedious process to get to this point, honestly. The architects and engineers, professionals, and our staff for all of their hard work, their good work, smart work. And we're so excited, honestly, about being able to provide this to the community and the area. When I say community, by the way, 60% of the people we take care of don't come from Thibodaux. They come from the Five Parish area. I mean, most of them don't come from here. So that's the community we think of when we talk about it. Okay, I'll read this passion story. When I'm finished, we're going to move over here and do the shovel. So this is Mr. David. He was diagnosed with stage 4 liver cancer about a year ago, and he was told he didn't have much more time to live due to his condition. David's physicians explained that if he did not lose weight and become healthier, his body would continue to shut down on him. So 1 year after joining the fitness center, David had lost over 100 pounds. He had also been taken off most of his medications. Upon follow-up appointments, his physicians have gone as far as telling him that he's added a decade to his life. That might sound over the top, but these are real things that happen to people in their lives in this area. So his pants went from 58 to 36, apparently. That's pretty good, if you ask me. So maybe we could give our staff, doctors, our board, and everybody a round of applause for their leadership.